Fantastic. So, Graham, you've had a webinar running in your business now for 3 weeks, I think it is.
Yes.
So 3 weeks in, tell us what's different.
Wow. What's different in the last 3 weeks? Well, instead of the traditional lead generation and individual client meetings, we're now presenting to the masses and they're requesting that we interact with them. So we're getting potential consumers and clients that are obviously registering for the webinar. They feel comfortable, they feel safe, they don't feel like they're being sold to or pressured into anything, and it's educational. So, you know, consulting, coaching, training, learning is one of the biggest things in any sector at the moment. And we're finding that, you know, I can now present in 30 to 45 minutes, I can present to 50 to 100 people, as opposed to spending an hour with somebody in the office or their lounge room. So we're now presenting to the masses, and the conversion coming out of that's been phenomenal. I think the second week, or first or second week, I think the second week we had 15 appointments in the diary. And yesterday I had 5 in one day without leaving my chair. And they were all 30-minute breakthrough sessions that we offer at the end of the webinar if people are unsure how to implement. Even on the ads and engagement, people are sort of saying, oh, you know, is there a catch? Is there a sign up? Do I need to buy a mastermind package? And the simple answer is no, it's free education. But if you're not able to implement what I've taught you in the webinar, then by all means, I'll even go further and give you a free 30-minute session. In that 30-minute session, I'll guarantee to share with you how to do it yourself. But if you still can't implement it, obviously then they need to engage with us.
Gotcha. So these people are jumping on your webinar. They're sitting through 45 minutes of your presentation. When they book in and when you talk to them, do you notice anything different about the client as opposed to normal lead generation mechanisms? What's different about the state of mind of the client?
Yeah, the state of mind of the client's incredibly different. Traditional lead inquiries, even referrals, there's that sort of disparity that they want some help, but they're a little bit on guard. These clients have seen the ads or they've come into the funnel somehow, and they're actually wanting the guidance. They're wanting the assistance. We're getting warm and hot clients that are ready to make a financial change, and they're researching it. So not only are they researching, they're then registering for the webinar because they want the education and they want to know the how. And the biggest difference is that 45 minutes has changed our business in 3 weeks, because when I'm talking to somebody now for a 30-minute session showing how to implement, everybody's coming forth saying, well, I love this and I love that, and this made so much sense, and you've just summed it all up for me, and I wish this was taught in school. And you know, the mindset and the psychology of the consumer is educated, empowered, informed, and they're ready to make intellectual financial decisions because they've had that coaching and guidance explained. It's just a massive difference.
You've been in the mortgage business for a while. What was your how many millions did you settle in the last 12 months?
Oh, good question. I think I personally settled about 136 million in 2017 myself. That sat me at the 13th best broker in the top 100. Last year, obviously with lots of other competing business interests and staff and so forth, I think I sat about 84th in the top 100, but obviously a lot of the business was processed by my staff, not myself. But I think as a business, we actually wrote about 240 million in the last 12 months.
That's phenomenal. So now that you've got this process in and you've talked about the state of mind of the mortgage customer that you're speaking with on account of them sitting through your webinar to be fundamentally different, more ready to go, what about typically, do you notice anything about the quality of the customer in terms of their financial position as opposed to another lead generation campaign that you may have done? What do you notice the difference is?
Yeah, quality of the client and the inquiry is extremely different. So the quality of the client is well prepared. We've got the relevant information. They've also semi-qualified themselves. Once they've gone through that webinar, they're understanding already what they may be doing right, what they may be doing wrong, Some people may be going away and implementing these changes themselves. That's fine. Happy to help. That's what we're here for. But a lot of people are coming really empowered, really informed, and knowing not all of, but really understanding what they're doing wrong with their mortgage, but not knowing how to change it. And that's the key. I know specifically in my webinar, I focus a lot on education and structure and detail, not so much rate. It's more product features, etc., and usage. And that's been instrumental because people are coming saying, I used to have a loan like this 10 years ago and I paid it off really quickly, but it's gone now. They grandfathered it. They wrote to me and they changed it. So we're noticing people are becoming more empowered and very qualified. And the time I'm spending with them after the webinar is significantly reduced to do business as opposed to the face-to-face from initial inquiry. When you look at other lead channels and other inquiry sources, they really are cold to lukewarm. These clients are hot. They are committed. They want to know more. They want to know how to implement the information. They're really, really buying into what they've been taught in the webinar.
Got it. Gotcha. So, Graham, you've tried quite a number of different marketing activities. You've tried seminars, you've tried purchasing leads, telemarketing, simple ad funnels. Where does this webinar fit in order of, all that you've done in terms of your goal of trying to get volume, through the door?
Look, this webinar has been a game changer for us in comparison to other lead sources. 47% of our business was referral last year, which is really important, hence all the awards that we win and the recognition we receive in the industry. So most of our business comes from repeat and referral clientele. But as far as generating new business and growing the business, this has been a game changer. In the first 3 weeks, we've had more qualified, serious inquiry than we have from other lead sources. Because the amount of money, time and energy you're spending on other lead sources to get a semi-qualified and in some cases completely unqualified lead at a raw cost. These clients are qualified. They're then further qualifying themselves, and I'm able to speak to the masses and get an abundance of inquiry at the end of every single webinar we run. So we're now looking at obviously pulling back on other marketing activity to really push more budget into the webinar and the educational side of it.
Got it. It's costing you around about $60 or $70 per appointment. And often people look at return on investment. And obviously you don't convert everybody. But at the end of the day, how does that spend of $70, say, per appointment compare with other appointment gaining strategies that you've been involved with in terms of dollars? How much it's otherwise cost you to get that appointment into your calendar?
Yeah, look, other highly qualified leads from other various marketing activities usually sit on average around the $800 to $1,100 mark for a fairly highly qualified inquiry. We've noticed now we're spending probably somewhere around the $65 to $75 for an appointment booked into my diary. We're also doing them all remotely, so it's quite interesting that I've been an advocate over the years that the personal interaction was key, and that I didn't want a bar of technology. I'm old school. I don't understand it. I don't like it. The personal interaction's king, and I'm finding now that yesterday 5 video conferences in one day, and they were all 30-minute breakthrough sessions. Bang, bang, bang. Clients knew what they wanted. They'd already felt like they knew me. They'd sat through the webinar. They had a few quick questions. They were empowered. It's just a game changer. It's a complete game changer. I'm not having to qualify the inquiry before I speak to them. They're pre-qualified and they've gone through that process. And I could literally sit at my desk with no pants on and be writing business all day.
Gotcha. I hope you're not doing that at the moment.
Well, no. Well.
So, Graham, there's people going to watch this video who are going to go, I've tried Facebook ads, I've tried social media marketing, I've tried whatever, and I've heard about this strategy. what would you say to them if a person sitting here watching this wants to scale their business? In other words, they want to earn somewhere between $250,000 and $1 million plus a year. What would you tell them about this form of marketing from the perspective that you've observed in the reaction of the clients you're speaking to? So you've just talked about your old school where you used to, have to meet with people. Tell me about how the client has been predisposed when you're talking to them via a video link at the time that suits them. Like, do you see a significant difference in terms of how open the customer is in actually, organizing or orchestrating their home loan or their mortgage or their finances via video link?
Look, the first thing I'd say is don't all of you run out and copy it, because it'll make it harder for me and you'll take a piece of my pie. I think it's important in the industry that people start to collaborate. I'm a big advocate for that. We're not all in competition with each other. We all have our own sandpit in our own backyard. I know for us, this is a game changer and it's just 3 weeks in. So I would say to anyone who maybe gets a chance to watch our conversation or I get a lot of people reach out to me from other, conversations you and I have had, Mark, that it's something you need to invest in. If this is a career, if this is a passion, and this is a business for you long-term that you intend to grow and remain in the industry, you have to innovate. I mean, we were the 58th most innovative company in the country last year across Australia and New Zealand in the Fin Review. And it's because of innovation like this that we've worked on with you that times are changing. It's evolving. People are time poor, and the ability to have a consumer pre-educated, pre-trained, pre-qualified, they've had most of their questions answered, or they've asked questions along the journey before you're actually investing that one-on-one time. It's a game changer. It's an absolute game changer. And as you and I have discussed, we can crank this up today or tomorrow, and I'd be in a bit of trouble. I wouldn't have enough hours in the day.
That's amazing, isn't it? Because otherwise your colleagues are struggling to find clients.
I've never really understood the fact that anyone's struggling to find clients. If you're good at what you do, people will come. But in the same token, you've got to put yourself out there. And today, everybody's living, a mobile phone is a weapon. It's not a mobile phone. Everyone's living on their phone. It's the first thing you do when you wake up. It's the last thing you do when you go to bed. You think you'd probably hug and kiss your wife and your children, but everyone's on their phone. But it is a game changer. And if people don't innovate and get involved in it, they're going to be left behind.
Gotcha. So that person sitting on the fence thinking, will I jump in and learn how to do this or not? What would you, obviously you're an advocate, but really, what would you tell them about sitting on the fence?
Well, you'll get a sore backside. And if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. It's not great English and grammar, but it's a fact. Do nothing, you'll get nothing. If you're sitting on the fence, it's time to exit the industry. And if you're sitting on the fence because you're scared to make an investment in yourself, you need to pull your finger out. Because I know that I'll continue this and I'll grow it. And we're now looking at what's another version of the webinar and what's another informative educational session. And that's okay. We'll be 3-4 years ahead of them by the time they realize that they've missed the boat. So.
That's the point, isn't it? It's especially with technology, it's the people who are first in the space that make the most money.
Absolutely. And I know for myself, and some of the brokers aren't even aware of it, we use a format called EasyDocs. And Jeff Kendall and the team there are amazing, that we're actually, during that session, we're sending out a secure encrypted link, and mum and dad are able to upload and drag and drop everything from their devices instantaneously. And away we go. We're ready to process an application.
So it sounds like it's meant less time for you, less imposition for the mortgage customer, so everyone's a winner.
It's created a more fluid process. It's mitigated time, which is, cost. So there's a significant saving in the lead acquisition cost. There's a significant saving in time, resource, and energy. And I believe it's a more exceptional experience for the customer.
Right. And can I ask just one last thing, Graham, in terms of my organisation's input into the creativity of the content, do you have a comment to make about that?
Mike, if I sat down and Rebecca and I tried to complete this ourselves, and as you and I both know, this took months to put together properly because we were a little bit CDO, which is OCD in alphabetical order for anyone who's not. And we were quite particular, but not so much just Rebecca and I. You were extremely particular in the copy, the content, the language, which was frustrating at times because I like to do things my way because I know everything about what I do. So it was frustrating at times, but look, it worked. And had we tried to do it ourselves, we'd still be sitting on the fence with a sore backside.
Gotcha.
Yes, it was a significant investment. Has it already yielded a return? It has. We're already profitable from the expense that we outlaid. And that's 3 weeks in. I don't know many ventures that you can actually make an investment in that yield a return within 3 weeks.
Got it. Well, Graham, it's been a pleasure working with you and for you. Thank you for your time today. I'm looking forward to hearing about you scaling this and creating such a competitive edge in your marketplace where you're able to take on some of the really big players at scale without having to leave your office at any time. It's the new way of engaging mortgage clients.
Absolutely.
So thanks again for your time. I appreciate it.
No, and look, obviously I'm pretty flat out because the diary is full from the webinar, but I do get people that are sitting on the fence that do contact me and say, oh, should I work with Mark or what's your experience? Look, I've done a couple of Zooms with people and screen shared and showed them my diary. The proof's in the pudding. I'm not going to run around and do that for everyone because I'm too busy serving clients. But, I've had a chat with a couple of people and I don't know whether they did business with you or not, but at the end of the day, we're all experts in a particular field. And if we can just stick to our own sandpit and engage the expert in the appropriate sandpit, we'll get where we need to be.
Gotcha. Okay, well, thanks again.
No worries. Thanks, Mark.